Yes?
Multiplicative inverse. What you multiply by to get 1. What you multiply by to get 1. So you multiply 1/5 by 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You don't have to say 5 over 1, 5. One times 5 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 over 5 is
1.
multiplicative inverse of 1/5 is 5.
So you just switch around the stuff.
Multiplicative inverse of 2. Huh?
Wait a second.
2 times 2 is 4.
Yeah, I thought it was 1/2.
1 over 2.
Or
That would be the multiplicative inverse of 2. -7/9. Careful. Look.
It would be negative 9 over 7.
Why negative?
Because a negative times a negative equals a positive.
That's right. We want it to be positive. So that would be negative 9 over 7. So when we're solving equations, and we're solving for a variable, the coefficient on the variable we're solving for should be a positive 1. Everything has a coefficient, right? So we want the variable by itself, and when it's by itself, then that coefficient is a positive 1. Your answer cannot be left as a negative, meaning negative x equals 4. You cannot leave it like that, because the coefficient on x is negative 1. It needs to be positive 1. Got it? All right, some examples to help you. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. Just to make sure we understand each other, division rule. To divide means multiply by the inverse. To divide really means to multiply by the inverse. Believe me? Really?
Well, what is it?
I'm not sure I believe myself.
Oh, that means when you flip around.
Alright, just to show you what I'm talking about, let's do 6 over 3. That's really the same thing as this. Okay, 6 divided by 3. That's just a fraction. 6 divided by 3 is what?
2.
Alright, so let's just show that this is really true. 6 divided by 3 really means that you are multiplying by the inverse. I'm going to divide by 3, that means I'm going to multiply by
1/3.
1/3. And 1/3 of 6 is 2. I'm just showing you that it works.
Yeah, it does work.
Okay? That works with everything. Let's take 4 divided by 1/2, which is also the same thing as this. Because you will have some numbers or problems that end up with fractions inside of fractions, and I've already told you how to do this. We've already worked these types of problems out. So you really are taking 4 and multiplying it by the inverse.
wow, that's cool. You can get it positive. I mean,
Yep.
You just like put 4 over 1 and then take it times 2 over 1.
That's what I just did.
Yeah, I know, but 4 by
Alright, now let me show you the long division to show you that this works. So 6 divided by 3, that's the same thing. You don't have to write this down. Long division looks like that. 6 divided by 3. So long division is really multiplication. What times 3 gives me this? 2. So that's why you're multiplying. Alright? Now, this one over here, 4 goes inside this little box. 1/2 is out here. What times 1/2 gives me 4? Half of something will give me 4.
8.
That's right. So that works. I'm just showing you that's how we look at numbers in your head, and you do it quickly. You're not going to be asked to do all of this, okay? It's just making sure you understand what division really is and what inverses are. Got it? Alright, so let's actually do some real stuff here.
Carpal fake?
What?
Let's do some real stuff. What do you mean?
Well, you're going to find out. This is example 1. What is the multiplicative inverse? So example 1, let's see if you know what it is. Negative 18. What's the multiplicative inverse? Nate?
negative 118.
That's right. Example 2. Negative 4 1/3. What's the multiplicative inverse?
Negative 13.
No.
Negative 3/13.
That's right. This is actually negative 13 over 3. So your multiplicative inverse is negative 3 over 13. Yeah.
So the negative always stays negative.
Because you want to make it positive. Okay. Example 3. Now this is find the quotient. This is real simple, guys. Negative 21 divided by 3. Noah?
Negative 7.
Negative 7. Or negative 21 times 1/3. Everybody knows what this is. Giving you simple problems to make sure you understand the process, so that when you get a difficult problem, you can go through the process really without even thinking about it. When you guys start to think, that's when you start to make mistakes. So understand how to do this stuff. Example 4, again, find the quotient, negative 1/2 divided by 1/5. Tell me what to do. And
Use the reciprocal and subscript and change the division sign.
yeah, remember, division is nothing more than multiplication of the inverse. So what do you get?
Negative 5.
That's right. Or 2 1/2. Doing all right? I don't see any tears. All right, let's do one more of those. Example 5. Let's see you do this. Negative 4/7 divided by negative 2. Negative 4/7 divided by negative 2. Nate?
It'd be negative 4/7 times 1/2. Or negative 1/2.
There you go. And what do you get?
2 over 7. Negative 2 over 7.
So you reduced before you started. So positive 2 over 7. Negative times a negative is a positive.
Yeah.
That's why the rules for negatives and multiplication apply to division as well. A negative times a negative is positive. Positive times a positive is positive. Negative divided by a negative is positive, because what are you doing? You're really multiplying. Same thing. All right, so let's talk about the mean. Everybody's had this over the last few years. Should just be review. This is algebra, so things are going to be a little more difficult, but let's just refresh our memories. Find the mean.
Oh, I hate
Example 6. That's enthusiasm right
it.
there.
It just takes forever.
12, -8, -9. What is the mean? First of all, what does mean mean? Average.
Is there a shortcut?
Come on, figure it out.
I almost got it.
Brody,
28, or 288,
I'm sorry?
288.
Well, let's check. To find the average, you add up everything. Divide by how many things you have. 12 plus -8 is 4. 4 plus -9 is a -5. -5/3 or -1 2/3. Who got that right?
I know.
I do.
Yes.
Decimal, you shouldn't be using a calculator at all. You show your intelligence when you use a calculator, because usually the calculator doesn't know anything. You're putting your faith and trust into a machine that cannot think for it itself, which means you're thinking for it, and that shows how smart you are. Do not use a calculator if you don't have to. Yes? I'd like to see this both ways. I will not count it wrong if you left it reduced like this. But
Yes.
you should go ahead and show both. Remember I told you, when it's an improper fraction, sometimes it's hard to really understand the value until it's made into a mixed number. Once it's made into a mixed number, you got a clue about what that value is. All right, example 7. Simplify. Let's see if you've learned anything. 5 minus 25q all over 10. Simplify. It's a wonderful thing. I've already told you about this. Worked on it just briefly. Taking a complex fraction, breaking it apart, or understanding how to break it apart, and making it simpler, manipulating it. There's no equal sign, so you can't solve for q. So you're just manipulating here. Sophie, what do you think? What should I do first? Want some help?
Oh, yeah.
Now what? What does that become? What's 5 over 10? 1/2. It's 25 over 10. Okay. 5q over 2 or 5/2 q. Doesn't matter. Okay? And that would be okay. You could also write it like this. 1 minus 5q all over 2. Either one of these is okay. If you leave it like this, that in this case it wouldn't necessarily need to be a mixed number, but again, you don't know the value unless you make it a mixed number. So you're going to be expected to be able to do this, especially when we get into some harder problems, more complex variable problems, okay? All right, your assignment. 6. 4 to 42 evens. And the mixed review even.
Just like yesterday.
You want something different?
No, I'm saying it's got the exact problem as yesterday.
A lot of them will.
You like 4 to 42 even?